friends, welcome back to Rustic and Lace DIY. For those of you who are returning, welcome back, and I am so happy to have you here, and thank you so much for all of your support that you have shown me. And for those of you who are new, welcome. My name is Brenda, and I am so excited to have you here as well. Today I am participating in the Quick Change collab hosted by Teresa at Teresa B DIY. I will let you know more about that after the first DIY. So, with all that being said, let's get to crafting. Okay, here is DIY number 1, and it is a two-sided project. So I started off with this little topiary I got from Dollar Tree and my Waverly chalk paint in the color Plaster and in the color Celery. So I start off by just brushing this whole topiary with my Plaster chalk paint. And then, I'm sorry about the angle of this, guys, my phone switched on me, but then I just took my Celery paint and I just painted a line on both sides, and then I painted the side that had the words with that celery color. And I did this because I was hoping to keep the letters white, but didn't turn out the way I wanted. So instead I took my metallic gold marker I got from Dollar Tree, and I am just coloring in those words with that marker. And then once I'm done with that, I turn it around and I'm going to make the back side a snowman. So I'm just going to use a black marker here to make the eyes, the mouth, the buttons, and the hands. And then I use my Arteza paint marker in the color orange to make its nose. And then after that, I took this headband that I got from the Dollar Tree and I cut off the elastic and cut it in half. And then I'm just using my glue gun there to glue it on the side of that pumpkin slash snowman. And I do this on both sides. That kind of just, to me, it was just kind of a border, if you will, so that way you're not seeing the green or the white from either side. So then here I am like, what am I going to do with this stem that's on the top, which I had painted all black. And I decided, okay, well, I'm going to use my marker and just see if I can make it look like a top hat by coloring it in a little bit more and bringing it down closer to the eyes. Well, I still wasn't really happy with the way it looked. I felt like it looked like either Mickey Mouse or a bear. So I did some thinking. And while I was thinking, I thought, okay, well, I'm going to dress up the back side of this a little bit. So I took these little sunflowers that I got from Hobby Lobby, and I'm just hot gluing some on just along the ridges where the round parts meet. And then I thought, okay, I want to put one on the top, but I don't want you to see it from the other side. So I'm just kind of playing around here, trying to figure out how I'm going to make this work. How am I going to make my snowman not look like a little bear or Mickey Mouse? And you see I'm playing there with the poinsettia as well. And of course you could see both from either side. So then I took some black cardstock and brown cardstock and made a little square and glued them together. And I'm gluing this to that stem with the brown side facing the green part of this topiary and the black side facing the snowman. So now it looks a lot more like a top hat when you look at the snowman. And when you turn it around, it just looks like it's part of the stem. So then I went ahead and I used my little sunflower, and I'm going to go ahead and glue it right there on the stem. And then you could see a little bit of the yellow still around that. So I just take my scissors and I just give it a little bit of a haircut to kind of trim down those petals a little bit so that they weren't so obvious from the other side. Then I took some little bits of red burlap. You know, you can pull the strings out, and I made a teeny little bow with it and put it on the top of the hat. Then I took some of this black and red checked ribbon that I had, and I'm cutting it in half, And then I'm just measuring it. I wanted to make this a scarf. So I'm measuring it around the neck, and then I'm like, to see where I needed to cut it. So I cut it, then I'm just going to hot glue it around his neck, and I'm sorry it is not in frame while I do that. But there you go. You can kind of see there, I'm just hot gluing it there. And of course, you know, you have to have some part of your scarf hanging down. So I took that other piece that I had cut in half, and I'm going to cut this piece in half as well. And then I'm just going to hot glue them at the side there, overlapping each other. So it kind of makes like a V look to it. And then once I have that done, it honestly, it really does help it make it look more like a snowman, which I was very happy about. So then I took that little poinsettia that I was playing with at the beginning, and I'm just hot gluing it there by his scarf. Maybe it should be a her, since it has a flower and a bow. And then I took that metallic paint marker, and I'm just freehand writing Merry Christmas. And that is all there was with this project. It was pretty simple, pretty easy, and I think it came out looking really cute. I love that gold with that green. I think it's so pretty. And then you turn it around, and how cute is that? You have to let me know in the comment box what you think about it. Okay, so today's challenge is called the Quick Change Challenge, and basically we just make dual holiday decor. And it is hosted by Teresa at Teresa B DIY, and his co-host is Dave with Dave's Wreaths and Things, and Jamie with What's Jamie Making. They are all amazing creators. Make sure you check out their channels as well as the playlist, and I will have the links to all of those in my description box below. Okay, so here's DIY number 2. So for this DIY, I used this picture that I got from Dollar Tree, some scrapbook paper from Hobby Lobby, and my Waverly chalk paint in the color Cashew. I do add more as I go, but this is what I started with. So I start off by using my heat gun and my little spatula to get all the glitter off the front, because there was quite a bit of glitter. Then I took off the hanger, and I'm just wiping it with my paper towel to make sure there's no more glitter anywhere. Then I'm going to use my Cashew color paint, and I am just going to paint that little portion there that rotates with that Cashew color. So I paint the front and the back, and I did go over the inside edges of that sign as well as where it's cut out. And then once that was all painted and dried, I traced the sign out on both of those pieces of paper and cut it out. Now that plaid one actually was not loose. It came in a book of paper that I got from Hobby Lobby. It was 50% off, and I think it was a vintage Christmas, or I think it was a vintage Christmas. It was, or an old world Christmas. It was one of those books. I bought a couple of those books. And then as I traced this out, I did trace out the middle as well, because I knew I was going to have to cut that part out. So once I had it all cut out, I'm using my Mod Podge. I'm going all around that area with the Mod Podge so that I can lay the paper down. And if you can see on the back side there, there's two little rectangle boxes where the little sign moves around. I did cut out holes on that paper so that it would go around those little boxes, and that holds the little peg for the sign that rotates. And once I get this all smoothed out and on there, make sure there's no wrinkles or bubbles, I'm going to turn it around and do the same thing on the other side with the other piece of paper there. Then I was sitting there looking and going, okay, what else do I want to do with this? And so I grabbed this little tree ornament, this wood tree ornament I just recently bought from Hobby Lobby. I'm ready for Christmas, you guys, so we'll be seeing some Christmas DIYs here really soon, probably in the next few weeks. So I took off the little hanger from the back, and then I took some of those wooden maple leaves that I got from the Dollar Tree, and I'm using my Waverly chalk paint in the color Moss, and I am painting that tree with that color. And then I use my Waverly chalk paint in the color Pumpkin and Peacock, and I paint each one of those maple leaves with each one of those colors. And then once they were done, I took my sign, and I'm finding right where I want to place that tree, and I hot glue it in place. And then after that, I turn the picture around, and I'm going to lay those leaves out like I want them and hot glue them in place as well. Now, I should have done this before I glued the leaves on, but I decided I wanted to distress it, so I took my antique wax and my little chip brush, and I'm just going around the edge and distressing the edge of both of those leaves, as well as I distressed some in the middle too, to just kind of darken it up so it wasn't so bright. Then I took some of my little jute twine I got from Dollar Tree, and I made 2 little bows, and I am going to hot glue them right at the top of each leaf to cover that little hole that was on it for hanging them. Then after that, I am going to I took some little leaves that I got from Hobby Lobby in a assortment pack of leaves, and I just hot glued one on each of those little rectangles just to kind of hide it and dress it up. Then I took some more of that antique wax, and I went all around the sign on the Christmas side, and I am just going all around the edges, and I do go around the tree, I believe, as well. Yes, I did. I did it on the tree as well. Then I used my Cricut, and I printed the word out Christmas, and I used some gold vinyl. I think I got it from Michael's. And then I also printed out in black the word fall, and I cut it in half and put the FA on the blue leaf and the LL on the orange leaf. And then after those were on, I had taken my Scrabble pieces, and I wanted to spell out merry and happy, and I did use some antique wax to just go around and distress all around it on the edge. And then I am going to put on one side, I am going to put happy, and on the other side I am going to put merry, and I just hot glue those in place. And so now you have a sign that can say either Merry Christmas or Happy Christmas or Merry Fall or Happy Fall. I wanted to think of something that would change, that you could change, that would work for both, and this is all I could come up with. But if you try to recreate this, maybe you're a little more creative and come up with something a little more clever. So then I took a little wreath that I just recently bought at Hobby Lobby as well, and I hot glued that right onto the tree. And so then I had this little stand that I got from one of my pumpkins that I had used from Dollar Tree, and I am just pushing it in there. I will admit it did kept trying to fall. So I do end up using a pumpkin on the fall side. I glue it halfway on that stand and on the ground. It's not on the ground, but it sits there perfectly to keep it up. But then I just, on both sides, I just put some pine cones and some acorns. You can see the pumpkin there, and a little holly, or I should say a little fir branch or something on the bottom to dress it up. And I think it came out really cute. You'll have to let me know what you think about this as well. So here is DIY number 3. Now I've been wanting to make this for a little while. It's a sandwich board, and I thought this would be the perfect time to do it. So I'm using some Jumbo Craft sticks. I got these Hinges from Hobby Lobby, some pages from the new 2022 calendar, And 4, or actually I think there was 8 5-gallon stir sticks, and 4 of them I cut down, and I'm sorry, I don't remember what the measurements were. But it would fit, it was to be wide enough to fit those pages. So I took my antique wax and a brush, and I just brush on that wax on each one of those wood pieces, and then I am going to wipe it off with my baby wipe, and I do the front, the back, and the sides of each of those pieces. And then once it was done, sorry about the angle of this, sometimes my phone switches on me when I'm putting it up there, up on my holder I should say. I laid this out and made sure I had the measurements right, made sure it was where it was going to fit those signs, and then I'm going to put some wood glue and hot glue on the smaller pieces and glue them onto the longer pieces. Now on this one I did those pieces on the outside. On the other one that I made, because I made 2 of these, I put them on the inside, so yeah, whatever. So then I took these little tumbling tower blocks, I took 3 of them, and I am just hot gluing them on the as you see there, and I'm making sure they're right on the edge, and that is so that the sides are holding the craft sticks like you see. I'm going to hot glue them there, and that way it gives a place for the sign to go into, and it holds it in place, and then the bottom just keeps it, the bottom block keeps it from falling out. And I did that on this one, and then I did that on the other one as well. So I made 2 of these basically because it's going to be double-sided. This one, for some reason, I had to put 2 blocks on there, but the other one, I think it was because of it being on the outside of the short sticks being on the outside of the long sticks. Anyway, so here I had my husband helping me get the hinges on, so we just kind of put it where it needed to go, marked it, and made sure those holes were where our marking was, and he's drilling some screws in it. And once those screws were drilled in, then we just matched it up to the other sign, marked it where those holes needed to be, and then we drilled, oh my word you guys, we drilled the screws into that second piece, and there it goes. So once we were done, I took some ribbon that I cut 2 pieces the same length, and I just stapled them in on each side so that they could hold the legs together, so that the legs don't go all the way open and it falls. So there you go. So see, it's really not that hard. It took me a little bit of time because I kept messing up, but anyways, it wasn't hard. I thought my staples would work on that, but they were too long and they stapled through, and I had to pull them out, and but it was really pretty easy if you just think through it first. So you have to let me know what you think of this. I love it because you can change it out with any kind of sign, and you can use it for any season, and you can decorate it up too. You can add some bows. I was thinking about adding a magnet to a bow and putting it on there so you could switch out the bows for the seasons. So if you are new, I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you did, hit that subscribe button as well as that notification bell, and let me know you're here, and let me know what you liked, and give me that thumbs up. And with all that, guys, I hope you guys have a blessed week, and I will be back very soon with another video, and so we will see you then. Bye-bye.